Yo, what's up, family? Before we start the video, please leave a like, subscribe, and share to any and every one that you can, just so we can get out there a little bit more. With that being said, let's get right into the video. Jalen Duren had another crazy performance and led the Pistons to a win without Kate Cunningham, and I wanted to take a look, so let's get into the film. All right, how y'all doing? I hope y'all doing good. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not, make sure you take your shoes off before you come out saying this. Man, watching this game and just watching Jalen Duren over these past few games, especially without Kate Cunningham, the leap that he has taken offensively is just, I'm gonna try my best to explain it, but it's like some shit I can't really explain. But in this game, Jalen Duren had 31 points, 15 rebounds, 5 of which were offensive. He had 3 assists. This is what I've really liked from the Pistons, is this exact play right here. Now, I've liked some of the passing flashes that I've seen from Duren over the years, and of course, I'm not an avid Pistons watcher. I started watching a lot more last year when they were actually good. So if you've watched every game of Jalen Duren, if I say something that he's been doing, please tell me. But this is what I'm very impressed with, is the Pistons really running offense through him. His usage rate has gone up 7% this season. His turnover rate has gone down, and his shooting percentage has gone up. So he's been more efficient everywhere with more usage, and I love when players are able to do that. So here they're going to use him as a delay big with actions happening on both sides. Here on this side, we got Dennis Jenkins. He's going to set a screen for Ron Holland so he can cut. But over here, we have Pager action here for their best shooter, Duncan Robinson. Pager action, of course, named after Peja Stojakovic, is when somebody sets a back screen or a rip screen and then immediately gets into a dribble handoff. So here we have Pascal Siakam checking Isaiah Stewart. Duncan Robinson's going to set that back screen here, and he's immediately going to come off and get a dribble handoff from Jalen Duren. Jalen Duren is the perfect dribble handoff partner because he has a wide body. He's strong. He can pass the ball, and he just shields Isaiah Jackson so Duncan get that 3 off. And man, I don't like, again, I have not been watching. I'm not an avid Pistons watcher, especially like before they got good. I love Kate Cunningham. I followed his career before he was in the NBA, high school, college. I love the big point guard, so I love Kate Cunningham. I've always watched Kate Cunningham and wanted Kate Cunningham to be good. If this is not new Pistons fans, please let me know. Andrew Nembhard is on the point guard, Dennis Jenkins. He's denying the ball here, right? So we have to give it to Ron Holland. Cool. Ron Holland isn't this super ball handler, right? But he passes it to Ron Holland. Ron Holland just gives it back to Jalen Duren. Like, here, point guard, like take the ball. And he just goes up the court, carves out space, and hits a turnaround fade. All right, so here we got Jalen Duren taking the ball up again after a defensive rebound. And I can't tell you how impactful it is to have your best defensive rebounder be able to grab the ball and go initiate your offense quickly. I'm a Celtics fan, right? So Tatum is our best rebounder. Having Tatum being able to just grab the ball and go without having to wait to get it to a guard, it just makes your offense, like, he's down the court, he's at the opposite block with 18 seconds left. He doesn't have to wait for a point guard, and now you have to have the defense backpedaling, so your guard is able to run. You got Andrew Nembhard backpedaling, Jarris Walker is behind you, and they're setting inverted pick and rolls for him in transition. Again, I'm not a Pistons fan, so if they've been doing this, let me know. But inverted pick and roll in transition for him to get downhill and get fouled. Speaking of fouls, that aspect of his game has been one of the more impressive in this jump from him. Last year, he had a 44% free throw rate, shot 3 attempts per game, and shot him at 67%. And this year, he has a 63% free throw rate, and he's shooting 7 attempts a game at 78%. He is second in the league in free throw rate out of players playing 25 minutes a night, only behind Jimmy Butler. And when you drafted him, right, something that you knew that he would be able to do is this right here. He's going to be a really good role man. You drafted him at 18 years old. He was a guy at that age that was coming in with one of the best physical profiles of a big, right? 6'10", really strong, cleaning the glass, can be an athletic finisher, right? He has really good screening IQ, so he knows when to screen, he knows when to hold the screen, when he's screening, he knows when not to screen, he knows when to slip, and his mobility really plays a factor in that, especially for opposing bigs. So he's able to screen and get out of this really quickly and get behind J Huff. Now J Huff is in a really tough position because he has to guard Dennis Jenkins going downhill. But if he switches this and contests, which he does a nice job of, that means the switch now that's important is Jalen Duren on TJ McConnell, and he has no chance. Hey man, ain't no statistics to quantify this, bro. If you telling me that he was doing this before this, then okay, I gotta believe if you was really watching the games, bro. But getting a defensive rebound, we've seen him take the defensive rebound and go up the court a couple times already, and it's only the second quarter. But this, behind the back, tween behind the back, Hezzo Mello pull up Jello? Come on, bro. Like, this is crazy. Okay, two really important things on this play that I noticed that he was doing all game. So I talked about him and his passing, him being a delay big, and the Pistons really running actions through him in games without Cade Cunningham. Like him being able to lead this team with, of course, with other players doing good things, but him being able to lead this team in games without Cade Cunningham to wins has been crazy. But talk about his passing, talk about him being the guy that they run the offense through. He was directing the offense multiple times, and every time he pointed somebody to where they need to be, they scored. So here in the 77 action, he points to Javonte Green so he can be the first screener. 77 is just 2 on-ball screens, right? So Javonte's the first screener. He gets just enough of TJ McConnell so that Dennis Jenkins can turn the corner, and now they have 2 on the ball, right? And next is Jalen Duren as a role man. There's a lot that goes into being a really good role man. Of course, being athletic, being strong as hell, being 6'11", that certainly helps. Jalen Duren is averaging 1.55 points per possession as a role man, which is in the 97th percentile of the season. But what makes him a really good role man is his strength. Now, that's not just at the rim, that's before. One of the most important parts of pick and roll defense is the tag man. So in this instance, right, you got the 77 action. Javonte Green gets a little bit of TJ McConnell, which means that your big has to come over here and make sure that Jenkins isn't turning this corner just enough so TJ McConnell can get back. If you're not trying to switch, they just have to be there for a second so their teammate can get back. Now, in the event that you blitz or you hedge or you do something to put 2 on the ball for a half a second or a second, the tag man is a person responsible for stopping this roll and making sure that the roll man doesn't get an easy layup, right? So he has to come off his man and bump this guy and make sure that he isn't getting an easy roll. Jalen Duren destroys tags because, watch this, boom. He just swim moves Pascal Siakam and moves him out the way. People are gonna have to tag Jalen Duren. A guard in the corner, a wing in the corner, and forwards are gonna have to stop this man from rolling. And it's just not something that most people can do. Pascal Siakam gets moved. Now Mathurin is a tag man in a corner, and he just gets obliterated. And again, knowing when to screen and when not to screen, he sees that he already has space, and him coming up here acting like he's gonna screen, it forces Tony Bradley to stop his feet for just a half a second. And with the mobility that Jalen Duren has over him, that's all he needs. So he comes up like he's gonna screen, tap, tap, he gets out, he's already behind the defense. Good job by Pascal helping, almost gets the steal, but look at the strength. Boom, elbow, dunk. Again, commanding the offense, points to Ron Holland, tells him to screen for Caris LeVert so they can initiate the zoom action. A zoom also can be called Chicago. It's when a player receives a pin down screen to go overseas or dribble handoff. So Ron Holland's gonna set the pin down, the off ball screen, and Caris LeVert is gonna get into a handoff. Right now, this is what's so good about this. Now, Jalen Duren's ability as a roll man creates this 3 for Ron Holland because he has to roll. Right, you see that when Caris LeVert comes off of this, Isaiah Jackson goes over to him. Right, so now we have 2 on the ball, which creates this 2-on-1 right here between Jalen Duren. Oh my God, that is, did I just draw a cat? So we have, oh, that's also bad. Okay, I'm gonna start drawing circles. But we have a 2-on right here with Jalen Duren and Ron Holland against Andrew Nembhard. Now, what Jalen Duren does on this play, he's gonna roll right into Andrew Nembhard, so Ron Holland has ample amount of space to pull this 3. All right, Jalen Duren isn't as good as I would like him to be defensively still, but he is active. Like, his mobility does play a big factor. He did deter some shots in this game, and I feel like coming off this pick and roll, him being up to the level or trying to be, they were hedging a lot in this game. He was up to the level in pick and rolls, and if you have a guy that you think can move laterally, you would probably opt to not just let him be and drop and let the handlers turn the corner on you and get these mid-range shots. So I feel like that's good, and he's been able to step up. And I feel like on this play that Andrew Nembhard was coming off, looking to get the ball to Isaiah Jackson or somebody, so he basically picks up his dribble. Jalen Duren making himself large and just playing active, forced to carry. All right, sure, Pascal Siakam makes a good move, and there's Jalen Duren again to turn a rim attempt. Now, Pascal makes a phenomenal pass, but he was clearly going up with his ball until he seen Jalen Duren, so he deterred a rim attempt, and then he gets the rebound after doing that, and then again, he's able to push it, right? Pushing after defensive rebound, no lag time with your offense. They try to set the inverted screen again, and then he just goes to work, like carves out space and hits another fadeaway jumper. All right, so good action here by the Pistons. This rip screen kind of works as a cross screen. A cross screen is like post-to-post screening. So in this event, Duncan Robinson will be here, Jalen Duren will be here, and then Duncan Robinson will come over and screen this man. So he can either come to this other block or he can just get right under the rim and get a layup. But on this one, they loop Duncan Robinson over for this rip screen, right? He's going to set it. And then you see Jalen Duren, he's going to loop and spin move right here to get right under the rim. Isaiah Jackson doesn't know what's happening. Duncan Robinson is able to screen both of these players for like a half a second, gives Jalen Duren all the space he needs, and he gets fouled. All right, so I talked about the passing flashes that I like from Jalen Duren over his career. Of course, that's been heightened this year, but he has some really nice touch on these entry passes, and for a guy that's that strong, that's that big, to have a nice touch on his passes is a good thing. And I wouldn't come into this game viewing Pascal Siakam on Isaiah Stewart as like this big mismatch in favor of Isaiah Stewart. I know that he's stronger than Pascal. In this game, they were just posting up beef stew on Pascal, and Pascal just couldn't handle it. So Isaiah Stewart sets this screen right here on Tony Bradley, so Jalen Duren can come out to this elbow to initiate some hollow action. Beef Stew's gonna set the screen for Duncan Robinson so he can clear out. And this is what this does, right? When you have a shooter like Duncan Robinson, him cutting anywhere on the court, whether it's from three, whether it's across the paint, he's gonna draw attention, right? So Pascal Siakam shades over to Duncan Robinson just for a second, and that gives Isaiah Stewart all the space he needs to seal Pascal Siakam away from the rim. So again, Jalen Duren, the nice touch pass over there with the high-low, and Beef Stew gets fouled. And again, we see the big man running in transition and putting a nice touch on this pass to Javonte Green. All right, here we got another DHO with Duncan Robinson. If Duncan Robinson has the ball and he has a little bit of space, the threat of him pulling up for the three is obviously going to attract the big. So Isaiah Jackson steps up for just 1 second. Now the tag man here is Jeremiah Robinson Earl. He's too late and he gets dunked on. All right, so the Pistons are going to go to pistol keep, right? So pistol action is used for early offense, but it's always going to be set up something like this. Now, the big doesn't usually have to be right here, but this is always a constant in pistol. So there's going to be somebody bringing the ball to the floor, and there's always going to be somebody right here in this area to either receive the pass, but to definitely start this action. You can run it on either side, but the options are this guy will pass to this guy, then he'll get it back on the handoff and he'll go to the rim. Or what Dennis Jenkins did sometimes in this game, right? He'll run right past Duncan Robinson, he'll fake the handoff and just get a layup. Now this is what they do, which is pistol keep, is they pass the ball and this guy keeps it. And you can clearly see how the Pistons are playing this, because Dennis Jenkins, like I said, got some easy buckets from getting his handoff and just going right to the rim. You see Duncan Robinson keeps the ball out like he's going to hand it off, and you see what this does to the defense. It freezes Ben Shepherd for just a second because they've seen him pass the ball and Jenkins get a layup. So him doing that gives Duncan Robinson that half a step. Now Ben Shepherd is trailing, which means Isaiah Jackson has to attend to Duncan Robinson, so he's just not getting an open three. Again, Jalen Duren screening IQ, knowing when to screen and when not to screen. Sees that Duncan Robinson has a lot of space between him and Ben Shepherd already. No need to stay there, so he slips and he gets a finish over Pascal Siakam. All right, so it looks like we got some extra screen action. We got Duncan Robinson, Jalen Duren trying to set the screen on Ben Shepherd, but Duncan Robinson comes out to the corner, and you see the positioning that Jalen Duren gets after this, right? So he just ends up pinning Isaiah Jackson. Shot goes up, and he's, of course, been one of the best rebounders, one of the best offensive rebounders in the game. Again, talking about offensive rebounding, he's averaging 4.6 offensive boards a game. Here gets the tip in. But that is the video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, subscribe, and share to any and everyone that you can. Just read out there a little bit more, and I will see you guys in the next video. This is Nick. Peace.